but it's very popular. Sorry?
No, it's a recording process.
Oh, but there's a good sized Latino community in New Zealand, especially with the farming. New Zealand farming is very popular. There's a lot of sheep. There's I think, like 40 million sheep in New Zealand and only 4 million people. So there's a lot of jokes about sheep. Yeah. So a lot of
Do you like
bromas.
rugby?
Sorry?
Do you like rugby? Sport, rugby.
Oh, rugby, yeah, the All Blacks. Yeah, everybody has heard of the All Blacks, yeah? That's the All Blacks is the name of our national rugby team. So in New Zealand, rugby is like a religion. It's very popular when everyone, every boy and girl, they at the age of 4 or 5, they start, more so the boys, they start playing rugby. You know, it's and the second most popular sport in New Zealand is cricket, which is that's where baseball came from. Cricket is the original baseball. Yeah. So
I think it's popular in India.
yes, very, very popular. Yeah, I've been to India is one of my favorite countries. I really like Indian food, and I've been to Mumbai many times. I very much enjoy India. I like the Indian people. But see, at the moment, I'm retiring. I'm 45, so I'm retiring in about 6 months. I'm building a yacht in England, a company called Spirit Yachts. Their yacht was in one of the James Bond movies. So it's about, the yacht will be finished in about 18 months' time. And then I'm going to bring it over the Atlantic, sail it across the Atlantic, and then move in and go through the Panama Canal. And then I will probably sail around the Pacific for about 5 years, at which point then I will go up to the Northern Hemisphere and sail around India, Singapore, Hong Kong. Yeah, this is a big dream of mine. So my daughter is, she's 17, and she doesn't, even though her mother is Colombian, she speaks a little Spanish, but we are going, she's doing her yacht masters, which is the top qualification. So she will join me, but then for about the first year, and then she's going to study law in Wellington, which is the capital of New Zealand, at New Zealand's top law university called Victoria University. So my daughter will be studying law starting in about 3 years' time. So you have any other questions or?
Could you explain us more about the commodities, how the business run in?
Yeah, okay. It's okay. So the commodities, like there's, I got into I started my career in it was a company owned at the time by Halliburton called Bradero Shaw, which is anti-corrosive pipe coating, does all the pipelines, most of the pipelines in the world, be it in Europe, the Middle East. We did the anti-corrosive coating for it. So I was very fortunate because I grew up in the Middle East. My parents sent me to an Arab school, not an international school. I went to a school called Shwayfak in Sharjah, which is one of the Emirates in the United Arab, next to Dubai. And so I got a lot of connections there. You know, I had to speak, they were very strict. In this is the early 1980s when it was Iran and Iraq were at war. So there were a lot of prominent people went to my school. So I got a lot of good connections. And then working for Halliburton, I worked in places like Nigeria and that. And then I I left Halliburton in 2002. I went to Colombia, met obviously the mother of my daughter, and from there we went back to New Zealand, and I basically contacted. I had a very good Egyptian friend and we started a commodities trading house together. Now, there's the big commodity trading houses in the world, like Cargill, which are the biggest corn exporters, maize exporters in the world. Trafigura, I know the vice president there. Trafigura is, I think, the second or third largest crude oil trader in the world. So basically, for the first 2 years, 2.5 years actually, we never closed. We set up a company in Dubai, me and my business partner, and we basically, any commodity that we were asked for, be it food commodities or iron ore, we just basically brought prices back to people who requested. Now, these were like government contracts. For example, the Nigerian military asked if a friend of mine, a Nigerian who I know from a very important family out of Lagos, if we could bring them certain types of arms to fight against Boko Haram, which is the Islamic insurgents in Nigeria. So I rang a friend of mine who has good connections in that area, and we put a meeting together. So it's really the commodities business. It can be very good, but there's a lot of, and I mean a lot of fraud and scams in the commodities business, especially in Russia. Not by the Russians. Mainly the frauds are Nigerians or West Africans who pretend to be Russian refineries. They build their own websites. Yeah, it's true. Eh?
Okay.
They build these fake websites and they put out offers. That's why I've never ever closed an internet deal. An internet deal is where you get an offer via the internet and it's not from a primary source. So you don't know the person. And 99.9% of so-called internet offers are scams, are complete frauds. So it's really a business of, it's not necessarily what you know, it's who you know. And I'm very fortunate that I've met during my career, I've met some very well-connected people throughout the world. And on average, I get requests for products, for everything from crude oil right through to bullets. I get 6 or 7 offers a week because we're trusted. They know, people trust us. We add margin, usually on, it depends. See, on the sunflower deal, for example, I get paid per metric ton. So, for example, if we close a deal of a contract deal, a 12-month deal of 1,000 metric tons a month, then I would get $10-20. So that would be 10 to 20,000 US dollars a month if it was a contract deal. But it depends on, there's always people to take care of in these sort of deals. You don't get the whole commission fee yourself. You usually get about 20% of the commission fee. Yeah, was that a very good explanation? I mean, it's a very fluid business, the commodities business. We've got and it takes a long time to build up the network, and that can deliver on what they promise they can. In this business, you get a lot of people promising and claiming they know somebody or they have this contact, and when you start hearing that during conference calls, you might as well just hang up the phone because it's just it's unlikely to be successful.
And Evan, we could ask them a couple of questions so that they
Thank you.
can more, right?
Yeah, I just did. That was one question. Yeah. Okay. So what other questions? Do you have any other questions? I have my boss here. He's really strict on me.
Do you have any questions? Could you throw any questions at them?
Okay. Oh, me.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So, well, Celine is very quiet. So I will ask Celine a quick question. So, Celine, whereabouts in Mexico are you?
Mexico for what? Sorry.
So, where do you live in Mexico? Which?
Ah. Yes. Tell me. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, I live in Mexico City.
Oh, okay.
I live with my parents and my dog.
Oh, yeah. What kind of dog do you? I'm a very big dog lover. So, what kind of dog do you have?
A little dog is I don't know how do you say in English, but is Maltese.
Maltese.
Yes. It have 5 years with me. I don't know.
Yeah. No, so yeah, so in my life I've had my first dog when my mother was alive. My mother passed away when I was she was in a car accident when I was 12 and in a coma for 4.5 years, then she passed away. But my late mother, she loved corgis. You know the dog the Queen has? Yeah, the corgi. My mother loved corgis. My first dog was, we call it, this is slang in New Zealand, we call it a mutt, which is a mixed breed, yeah? So my first dog was a Labrador with Rhodesian Ridgeback. From Rhodesian Ridgebacks come from Africa, with Rottweiler. But it was the most gentle dog, the most beautiful dog. And I used to go water skiing. I live in a place called Lake Taupo in the middle of the North Island of New Zealand. It's the largest freshwater lake in the Southern Hemisphere. And I used to go water skiing, and this dog would run up and down the beach until I came back from water skiing. It was a very loyal dog. And then after that, we got Ingrid, the mother of my daughter, they wanted a Chihuahua, so I experienced the Chihuahua. So I really like Chihuahuas. So yeah, so that was interesting. Chihuahuas are amazing dogs for their size, as you know. They are so brave. They will attack a big dog, and yeah. Right. So what about Oswaldo? What about you? What are your aspirations going forward for the next few years? Are you going to remain in Mexico, or are you looking to work in the USA?
Yeah, it's a possibility that I will try it if I reach out some objectives. I could looking forward to a position in US, and it will be a possibility, and I have to work in my development plan in order to be ready if any opportunity appears. I have to be ready to apply for that.
Yeah, of course.
But it's a possibility that I have in my mind, and it will be included in my development plan.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it's always good to have a plan. I wish I'd been a little bit more structured in my thinking a few years back, but with my business, it's so fluid and that it was hard to really plan. But now, fortunately, I'm in a position now to go sailing for a few years once my boat is finished. So, and she said, what about you? Are you, what are you hoping to do after university? What are your dreams and aspirations?
Well, I want to study my region. It's called Huasteca. It's the north of Veracruz.
Sorry, study what? Your religion?
No, my area
Oh, okay.
where I live.
Yeah.
It's the north of Veracruz, and it's called Huasteca.
Yes.
And my dreams are to have my own project, archaeological project, for research all this area, and I don't know, maybe teach in my university.
So your ambition is to become one day a teacher.
It could be. I could have my own class in my university, and link Veracruz
Yeah.
to my school.
Very good. And right. So what else? I will. What other question have I got? I'm thinking of. Do you have any other? Do any of you have any more questions for me?
Yeah, I noticed that you have been a lot of time in Nigeria. And why you mentioned a lot of times? I understood that you were working with the army.
No,
No.
that this contract I'm working on at the moment is the first time I've ever engaged in a military contract. It's just, yeah, our commodities trading company is very diverse. I mean, like I said, we will look if we have a buyer that approaches us, as long as it's legal, we will look to find whatever they need. So it can be anything from military to crude oil to rice. We import a lot of jasmine rice, which is a lot different than the rice you eat in Mexico, from Vietnam. And we've been selling that to China as well as to Dubai, to the UAE. So yeah, that military contract is the first time I've ever engaged in a military contract per se. Yeah.
Okay.
So what else? What else is there then? Now what is the? So Celine, do you know where New Zealand? Before you came on, we had this conversation. Do you know where New Zealand is?
No, sorry, I don't know where is.
Nueva Zelanda, New Zealand. That is where I am from.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So any other questions?
So you come to New Zealand?
I come from New Zealand, yes. I'm originally from New Zealand, yes.
Okay, and you're working here in Mexico?
No. Well, I'm working, but I'm not working in Mexico per se. My business is, I'm working remotely. I normally live in Colombia, in Barranquilla, on the coast, next to Cartagena, Santa Marta, on the Caribbean coast. But I was doing a business deal with the Ecuador government for jet fuel. and I got stuck in Ecuador, in Quito, during the beginning of the pandemic. So it completely caused me a lot of problems. So I had to, because my residency expired in Colombia when I got stuck for a year in Ecuador. And then so I came back via Panama, and then I'm eventually, I had to get vaccinated. So I've had my 2 vaccination shots here in Mexico City, and I'm just waiting. I'm going to go to LA in March. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
And then I have a meeting in Nigeria in March as well. Yeah,
All right. It's
yeah.
very interesting. So, do you like to Mexico?
Yeah, no, I like all of I like Latin America. I was telling Oswaldo and Shahid before that I have a daughter with a Colombian. They live in New Zealand, and so I really like Colombia. I've lived in Colombia twice, in 2000, in early 2000s, and then again for 4 more years. But so Mexico, I had been to Mexico before when I was a child with my parents, but this is my first time to Mexico as an adult. But yeah, no, I like Mexico City, but I didn't expect it to be. I thought it would be a lot warmer. Yeah, especially after Panama and Barranquilla is very hot. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Any more questions?
How many languages do you speak?
Well, I speak, my Spanish is not, I know it's embarrassing, but my Spanish is conversational. I can get by, but it's not very good. I learned Arabic very young, and my Arabic is fairly good. So that's 1, 2, 3. I speak a very strange language. I'm one of the few white people that can speak what they call in Africa Pidgin English. I am very good at Pidgin English, and there's not many. And so when I see Nigerians in a bar or a restaurant in Hong Kong, and you should see their face when they see this white guy speaking Pidgin English. It's very amusing. Yeah, Pidgin English is like it's like all the different tribes in Nigeria have mixed English and their local dialects together. And it's a very peculiar language. And I learned it when I got very bored in Nigeria. And I worked in Nigeria twice, in total 3 years. And I learned very good. There's very few awibos, as the Nigerians call the gringos, they call awibos. And there's very few awibos that speak Pidgin English. It's very interesting when you should see the Nigerians' face when they meet me the first time I start speaking Pidgin English to them. They're literally in shock. Yeah. So, yeah. Any other? So the answer to your question, that would be English, a little Spanish, Arabic, 3, 4, 5 languages, but only about 2 or 3 languages I would say I would be relatively fluent in or close. And Spanish is definitely not one of them. Yeah.
Interesting, because your ex-wife it's Colombian,
Yes.
and all the communication was in English.
Yeah. When I first met my ex-wife in 2004, her English was reasonable, and her English improved within the first 3 months of being together in a relationship. Her English improved dramatically. Yeah, her English is superb. So, and she had a son from a previous relationship, Rafael, and he learned. He knew 0 English when he was 5 years old. and he now lives in New Zealand, and he's a straight A student. His English is and comprehension is really amazing. But by the time he was 6, within a year, Raphael was almost fluent in English. Yeah.
In that time, you were living in Colombia or?
Yeah, in Barranquilla.
Okay.
When I lived in Barranquilla the first time for about 2 years. When Sophia was born, we had our first Christmas. She was only 4 weeks old. We went to Cuba, to Varadero for 6 weeks for Christmas. We stayed at the Melia Resort, the all-inclusive, yeah? It was very nice. And I like Cuba. I really like Cuba. There's something different about Cuba, yeah? Very, very safe place, Cuba. You know, you walk 3 o'clock in the morning and on the streets, and there's no problem.
If you have to choose in one country to live the rest of your life, which will be?
100% New Zealand. It's the best, in my opinion, it's the best place to bring up children. We have a good health care. The good government pension. When you turn 67 in New Zealand, you get a pension. Everyone gets a pension of in US dollar. It's like close to $2,000 a month, guaranteed. That's even if it does. Every New Zealand citizen is guaranteed when they turn 67 about $2,000 a month. So the health system is good. There's not a lot of crime in New Zealand. There's still places in New Zealand where you go to the lake and you can drink the water straight from the lake. Yeah. So yeah, I love New Zealand, and it's. But if you ask me what would be my second choice, yeah, it's interesting. I like Japan. I love the food in Japan. You know, the home of sushi is just amazing. Because one interesting fact is a lot of people may not know, or you may not know, is that the Michelin rating for restaurants, the best restaurants in the world get a Michelin star, 1, 2, or 3 Michelin star. Japan has the most restaurants with Michelin stars in the whole world. And I love Japan. It's such a clean place. Like you go, you stay in a hotel, everything everything is so clean. You don't see rubbish on the streets in Japan. Yeah, it's just crazy. So, and I like the culture. They're very respectful with each other. Yeah. So Japan would be my second. I don't know about living. I lived in Hong Kong. I enjoyed Hong Kong, but now with the troubles, the political discord in Hong Kong, you know, it's a lot different than when I was there. I was living in Hong Kong about 6 years ago, 7 years ago. So it's changed a lot, but it's also one of my favorites.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? No? Well, I'm going to have a break now. I'm losing my voice.
Okay.
So
Thank you very much.
stop from the tap. No, I'm okay. No problem. I'll give you 2. I'm just going to go for a cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for a break. Yeah. No
Okay,
problem?
right. Yeah, no
You
problem.
okay?
Yes.
Because you've got this goes for an hour, no?
Yeah, so I know it's we have 14 minutes, but it's right.
Yeah.
No problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
Yeah, I'm coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I'll be back in a minute. Yes.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no problem.
Yes. Go ahead.
So guys, meanwhile, so we're staying together. So could you share your impressions with me? So how are you feeling? How were you feeling? And well, did you understand everything he was talking? Yes, Esdie, what about you?
I understood the most, but some words I didn't catch them. I don't know.
All right, okay. Right, what about you? You don't understand everything, so it's okay so to have that kind of conversation and well, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I I understood most of the conversation, and I agree, as Shesit said. For example, when he was explaining us the something related to the restaurants, she mentioned something like Michelin. I didn't understand what was, but it means it's every restaurant, the most famous restaurant has it, but I didn't catch what does it means.
Okay, we'll ask him a little bit later, okay? I
Okay.
don't remember so what he was talking about. Good, again, thank you, Sen. And what about you?
Um, yes, teacher, I understand, but maybe I think the 50%, um, because he says some words that I don't know what is the meaning. But his pronunciation is very good, and I think it's good to listen some people that have another pronunciations and others. I don't know. Maybe he practice or he learned English with another people. So I think it's good listen some kind of voices and pronunciations.
Yeah, Sen, good. Well, so you touched upon a very, very good matter. So Sen, how do you perceive, how do you hear his accent? Because I know he's from New Zealand, and of course he speaks, let's say, more British English. Yeah,
Yeah, the Queen's English.
the Queen's English. Yeah, so see, what about you? How do you perceive Aiden's pronunciation, Aiden's accent?
To be honest, it's I catch more his conversation instead of your conversation. It's more clear. I understood the difference because he is a, a native speaker
Yeah,
of
sure.
or English, and this is makes a big difference. And I understand more of this kind of conversation. Uh, but the this the tongue it's very similar to British English.
Yes. Well, they say now a lot of people they may dispute this, but they say New Zealanders are the closest to pure English than any other nationality, including the English. Our English is regarded as the most pure form of English in the world. It's called the Queen's English. And because I went, yeah, so I went to boarding school in New Zealand. My tutor was Prince Edward, the youngest son of the Queen of England. He was my tutor, Prince Edward. And he would say that our English is better than the English grammar in England. Yeah. So a lot of people say, that's not true, but I think it is. So I should say, I would like to think it's true, but I've always wanted to tell an English class this. There's things you pick up on how people speak English. Like the upper class in England, they don't say you were going to meet the Queen. You wouldn't say, how pleased to meet you. Now you would say that is very formal. No, the upper class would say, how do you do? Is little things like that. So when I meet somebody from England, I can tell you immediately what class they are after they speak one sentence to me. Just if they say, how do you do? If someone says to me, how do you do? I know immediately they are from upper class aristocracy. Yeah. It's really interesting how you could pick up on things like that. Yeah. I'm not from aristocracy. I'm just saying I know how the aristocracy speak. Yeah. Yeah.
So great, Cecilia, Osvaldo, Serena, do you have any questions? Yeah, so anyways, the raw 8 minutes flat. So let's continue answer before wrapping it up. Do you have any questions or any comments? Well, anything you would like to share? Cecilia, Osvaldo, Serena, go ahead.
I just want to understand when you was explaining us the topic about the restaurant in Japan, you mentioned something that I didn't catch.
Okay. So have you heard? So there's a global grading system in the world. The best restaurants get awarded what they call Michelin stars. Now, Michelin it comes from France. And so all the top restaurants say if you eat at Harrods food court, there's a little place in Harrods food court that has one Michelin star. One Michelin star is very good. The top is 3 stars. And Japan has the most restaurants with Michelin stars in the world, even more than France.
Okay, I got it. Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Cecilia and Anna, do you have any questions?
Yes, what is your favorite country?
Okay. So my favorite country is definitely my country, New Zealand. I explained before you came on that, New Zealand is just a very good place to raise a family. And we have a good health system, a free healthcare system. You get sick in New Zealand, the government pay for everything. They have a good pension system. You know, every New Zealander is guaranteed a pension when they turn 67. And it's New Zealand is relatively clean. New Zealand promotes itself as being very green and very clean. It is not as much as they say, but as I mentioned previously, there are still places in New Zealand where you can go to the lake and you can drink the water from the lake straight. Yeah, it's still fresh. A lot of our rivers, you can still drink the water from the rivers. Yeah, so in New Zealand. In New Zealand, people are very laid back people. Like you go to the cinema in New Zealand, you will see people walking with no shoes in the cinema. Yeah. You will go to some towns and cities in New Zealand and the people walk in bare feet. Yeah. Or in their socks. It's a lot of people when they first visit New Zealand, they're like, what? They are shocked. Yeah. They see people walking around in bare feet, going to the cinema, but it's the Kiwi. They call us Kiwis because Kiwi is our national bird. It cannot fly, but it's got a big beak, and they call New Zealanders Kiwis. And we're very laid back, very laid back culture. Very Latino in a way, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it was very nice to meet you all. I'm not sure if I get invited back.
Not sure.
But it was good talking to you, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you all. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So guys,
Thank you.
thank you very much indeed. Yes, and I know, so I suppose that well, so tomorrow, yeah, maybe on Thursday. So I'll send you. Also, I'll send you some comments. But anyway, so it was good, and I suppose that so you had a good time. So talking to Nathan, and I suppose that so this is the idea of well, you're starting English, yeah. So in order to practice it, yeah. So guys, thanks a lot. See you on Thursday, yeah. So thank you. Bye for now. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Thank you. Bye.
you.
Bye so long. Bye. Thank you.